Hi everybody, welcome to Bar YU. I'm Brian Barrett and I'm here with Bary Clower. Bary, what we're going to do today?
All right, well, we're going to make some piggin strings.
What is that?
Well, I'm going to teach you. That's why you're here.
Fair enough. Okay, so you're going to show me what a piggin string is and how to make it.
Yes,
How do you start with it? And what do you start with? That looks like a lasso.
Yep, it's a lariat rope. These are poly ropes that I get. The difference between a nylon rope. The nylon ropes you can make tie strings out of, but these poly ropes work a whole lot better for me, and so that's the reason I use them.
All right.
This rope standard about 28 foot long, and some of them are 30, but most of these are 28 foot. And what I do, I like a string. I'll make some short ones out of the tail pieces to tie on our gates.
Yeah.
To tie up panels on the sides of our trailers and
so
stuff.
They come in handy for this little stuff like that.
Yes, it's a big part of our tools and uses. And then I just take and basically, my arm spans right at almost 6 foot.
Okay.
So there's my measuring tape right there. And then, so that's 6 foot. And then I'll take and go about half of that.
9 feet.
Right there, so right around 9 feet roughly. And you can take and cut the end of this and untwist the whole thing. Some people do. It takes a little longer, but for me, I just kind of get right to what I need. And then we'll lay that down there for a minute. Now what I do, this is a 3-strand rope. Now some ropes are 4. They even make some ropes that are 5-strand.
Yeah.
But these 3-strand ropes is more common for me and what I use. And what I do is just basically take 1 strand out. That's turning that into a 2-strand.
You unravel 1 strand out
I just unravel 1 strand.
All the way down?
All the way down. And I take that all the way out. And most of the time this is done in the heat of the day or cold of the winter. You know,
when it's too hot or too cold to be outdoors.
Yeah.
Normally, or it's in the evening when you've got time to spare and it's after dinner.
You bet. We're just kicking back after eating a good old greasy steak. And
because you may need something like this come morning time.
In the morning, you bet. Heck yeah. And so I've got a few, but a lot of times the reason you say, well, why didn't you make some and they last very long? Well, they last a long time if you can tie and untie stuff with them, as far as cattle. But the thing of it is, when you're tying those cattle down, sometimes they'll get pulled tight and you'll have to take your knife and cut them to get them loose. And it's not a big waste. We don't have any money other than the initial cost of the rope, and it's already paid for itself several times by using it, catching cattle and doctoring.
So this is something handy for a rope that's been cut or been had a use and somehow it got messed up. You can still use it. Recycling. This is cowboy recycling.
That's exactly right. That's it, recycling. And then, I don't have the money to run out, or even if I did, I've got the resources right here to go and buy a $10 or $15 string at town. They sell them.
Right.
And then these are going to be a little softer and most of the time a little bit longer than the strings that like the professional cowboys use, as far as PRCA professional cowboys versus the ranch professional cowboys. And so it's more for may take you a little longer to tie him down than 8 seconds like a rodeo cowboy, or now 6 or 7 seconds. But I want mine to stay tied down a lot longer than 6 seconds.
Right.
I want him to stay tied down until I get back with the pickup or get through doctoring him or whatever I need to do. I make some of these a little bit longer because we end up having to tie like cows or bulls down, and they're a longer body. Takes a little bit more to be able to cross their feet and that type of stuff. So it's just basically unwinding that right there. I think as a good teacher, how I learned to really do this was basically have somebody hand me a string.
You're gonna have me do this. All right.
You bet. And then you just get whatever's kind of comfortable, because what I'm going to do is speed this process up.
Sure.
I'm just going to start on another one.
All right.
Okay. And you were being a pretty good student by sitting there watching.
Now, should I? A little easier for me if I just kind of do this.
That's fine.
Is that okay?
That's absolutely
loop that around
fine.
That way, if I'm going over and under, it's
you bet.
Not getting caught up as much.
Exactly. That's a good deal.
All right.
And what I'm going to do is take and make me a little bit longer one, because I've got an idea to double one back through itself, and I'll explain what that means.
Double back through itself.
Yes. So the string that you're taking apart is not something we're going to throw away. We're going to use it also. And so it's something that's a little time consuming, but what else was you going to do while I was sitting here? And so,
well, we've already had steaks. We've already had dinner.
Yeah, we know what the neighbor's cattle taste like now, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in good shape there.
It's a beautiful sunset right here on your ranch, your area. You're working.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's cooled off. I can see why.
Yeah.
You know, you don't stay out in the heat of the day too long, but you get out when you can and do work.
That's right. Yeah, first thing in the morning, usually, especially in the summertime. I'm talking about middle of June to probably about the end of August, sometimes 1st of September. People that are in the horse training business, they'll get up at 2 or 3 in the morning, or maybe before that, and work in the dark. Far as, well, they're not in the dark. They've got barns with lights on and stuff like that, but work at night, where it's anywhere from 75 to 85 degrees.
That's a lot
and
better.
Then by mid-morning, sun's coming up, those guys are through, they put the horses up, they go to bed, wake up, midnight, and here they go again. And so it's like shift work, is the way I look at it. And our cowboy hours, shift work, it's...
you don't get that luxury, do you?
No, not most of the time. We'll be out by daylight and getting a job done. And when we're getting that job done, and nearly always need a piggin string to do it, not to lose focus, to get that job done, we can be through, much like we were this morning, by 9:30, 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. We are through with our horses and our dogs and our working the actual of the cattle, and then we'll load up and go and check the water holes and salt and mineral and do stuff that we can do out of the
Unless
pickup.
You get a call like, the thing we did today, having to,
get a phone call. We're always a call away from feast or famine. And so we get a call and the guy says, hey, we need to go doctor a cow, or we need to go pin a cow, or do something like that, or calf. And that's the reason some jobs you do in the heat and some jobs you do in the cool.
Yeah.
And right now it's cooling off, and this is a good job for us to be sitting here doing.
Nice.
And,
now, what do I do when I get to the end of this?
Okay, when you
getting near the end. Here.
Get to the end, boy, it looks like a good time to hand you this, and I'll take that. How's that sound?
Can I work out my right shoulder now?
Work out your right shoulder. Yes.
Do this long enough, you begin to feel the burn.
Yeah. That's the reason,
It's cowboy aerobics.
Yeah, most cowboys don't come home and get on the Thigh Master or the Stair Master or go, we're going to work out. My God, we've been working out all day.
Yeah.
So we're going to go home and we're through working.
No Pilates for a cowboy?
Nope.
So you just cut the end off.
I don't even know what that is. All right. Now, here's that shorter string I was talking about that we're going to use. Now, I have a tie string.
That's the original.
Yes.
Minus one strand.
Yep, minus the one strand. Okay. If you would, test and see how, stiff that is.
Yeah.
All right. And if you were going to try to tie something down with it, it wouldn't make, there you go, a little bit tough.
Little tough.
This right here, you can take this and just kind of, how about that? Yeah. You can tie your shoe. That ought to be simple enough, huh? Yeah.
That makes it at least 33.333% easier.
You are exactly right, because we have took 1/3 away. So there you go. It's what we try to do. This part right here.
Now, what's this guy going to do?
All right. Now, what we've got to do here, this is where some people don't know this little routine. A good friend of mine taught me how to make an eye. The eye is just like the hondo, or the eye of the rope.
Sure.
What it goes back through.
Like a loop when I'm putting on a fishing lure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what I'll do, I'll take, and it has a natural flow to the way that rope come undone.
Right.
It'll twist back together. And that's why I like to use the poly type rope and versus the nylon rope. Then that naturally And if you're trying to force it, okay, all I did was
it braids itself.
You put it right back through. See, I put that one through there, and then I put this one right through here. Okay. All right, I just allow it to braid. At any time I start forcing that, it will start twisting on me. And so I don't want to twist it. I am putting it back together. Okay? Now, I've got my eye made. Now, I'm gonna let you feel, it's all about having a feel when you're cowboying in anything that you do, or a force. And if I go to forcing this, it's not gonna come out right. But if I feel it go back together, it will. I just take and see how that turns. Now I'm gradually twisting these with my index finger and my thumb as I twist the top of this. At any time, okay, see, I feel like I jumped a string.
Right.
Is what I call it. Let it cross. I'm just twisting as I twist up here.
It has a natural flow to it.
Natural flow. And I'm actually holding here and twisting with my left hand.
You're twisting with your left hand.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
I'm putting it back together.
All I'm doing you're letting that
yes,
spin like a top.
Okay, and the reason why I'm going to show you, if I start twisting here, look what happens down here. It doesn't flow back together. All right, so we spent enough time there for you.
Yeah.
We're just moving right along. So then I may have to come on down as the right arm starts cramping up. I'll just bring this on down. But basically with my left hand, all right.
Twisting with the right also there.
Yeah, and I'm just letting that, just letting that I'm just holding that so it doesn't kink up on me. We're just going, and that is putting the string back through itself. Putting it back together. And so that right there, oh man, I love it when a plan comes together. Okay.
Getting near the end.
Getting near the end. I'm just going to turn that over just so we can see. I'm gently turning down here now and letting that just flow right back together. Every now and then you'll start it out to where it comes out just exactly even. 9 times out of 10 it comes out just a little bit off, which is fine because I have a pocket knife and I ain't scared to use it. And so there we go. Notice I pulled away from me instead of poking myself in the face. Now what I'll do, some people like to tie a knot on the end of this. I do not like knots on the end of them because when I untie and I pull that through, I want it to be able to come completely out. So here in just a second, we'll melt that down with some heat off of the old propane stove. And that right there is, I use a lot of these shorter pieces that would normally get thrown away to tie up gates and tie up panels on the side of my trailer. I'll leave them hanging on the back of my trailer gate so that when I open it up to load a cow at the pens, I can tie that off to a fence post and then it unties, and this always stays on my trailer that way. Looking pretty good?
Yeah.
You think you know what you even do with that?
It's like a miniature lasso?
Well, it could be.
Lasso and pigs.
Yeah, and then or you put it around their leg and then pull it. Yeah, like that. That's how you pull it. Yeah, that's it. That looks, you've got it.
Where do you get the pigs at? Do you have pigs?
No, we don't have pigs. About every evening they come out like this and you can just go find them and catch
Wild
them.
pigs?
Yeah, wild hogs. You bet, wild pigs. That's why we got piggin strings, is to go get the wild pigs.
On a horseback?
You could, but mostly you go on foot. You can
go a foot?
Yeah.
So this makes a sound?
Yeah.
It does make a sound.
Yeah, just zip it through there.
Does that drive them crazy? Are they going to come at me like?
They come charging you to get you to stop that sound, and then that's why you put the pig on.
I don't want anything charging me.
Or you could, if you go out into the woods and just start pulling that through your hand real fast and making noise, the pigs will come.
Get out. Really?
They know you got a string, so zip it through your hand, zip it through your hand real quick.
Like this?
Yeah. Zip. Oh my, that's. You've probably been snipe hunting too, hadn't you?
You suck, man!
Well, university ain't for everybody. I gotta put this in
the jackass in the background.
Yeah, you gotta get that. You should.
Hey, there's your mascot, Brian.
What did you say, Barry? Well, Brian, a little recap here. Now, what do we call that?
A piggin string.
Piggin string. That's right.
Piggin string.
And or tie string.
Or tie
and
string.
I've been asked, why is it called a piggin string? And which that's something that you would use to tie a pig down with. And a tie string, you could tie steers, cows by crossing the feet and tying them. That's one use. Many uses, and I've used more and more of using those to tie the gates, tie up panels, fix water gaps, fix fences, fix any type of stuff that we may need to tie up, because outside of just a little bit of time, we're refurbishing a rope that really is wore completely out. Maybe I was getting a little concerned about it breaking in a few places when I went and caught something with it or used it, you know,
right.
for animals, catching horses or cattle or whatever we were going to catch that particular day and do. And so what I'm doing is just taking it, breaking it down and being able to reuse it and
so
not have any
It's a piggin string, and you prefer the three-stranded
poly. Yep.
Three-stranded poly
Yes,
kind of rope.
Yep.
You remove one strand.
Yep.
And then you weave the that one strand into itself.
Yep.
And then you get the eye.
Yep. And then, so out of that rope that I cut off and handed to you, we have a tie string that can be used to tie cattle down, or a little more longer type. This would be more usable on your horse and out on the cattle, having a longer string. The shorter strings, I started using them to tie on to my gates, panels, post and stuff, that because we always
tie things down with them.
Exactly. Yeah. And I have used those smaller ones for like when we catch baby calves and have to take them in and take their mama in. I've used that string a lot for pulling calves. Like when we're having to pull calving heifers out and stuff like that, you can keep that just kind of tucked in your belt, and it's always right there for you to use.
We've made the piggin strings,
right?
And now what are we doing?
You bet. Okay, main thing I wanted to show you, we've made 3 different ones. We've made the short one tail that we use mostly for like tying on the trailers and that type of stuff.
Right.
Okay. Well, if we don't melt these ends of the short one,
they'll fray.
Exactly. Then this is a longer string with an eye, okay, that we can use to tie larger animals down with, because we put that through the eye and put it on the front foot and go that route. This is a medium size string, or basically pretty close to the same of that, but I have both ends and I will melt them without an eye, because I'll use this to tie smaller cattle down with that I don't have to string their front foot.
Sure.
And so and then that makes it pretty versatile. And then I'll use this around the horse and stuff also. So if we don't melt these, some people put a knot at the end of them. I found that to hang up on stuff that when I'm in a hurry. So
makes
I don't
sense.
want. So everybody's got their preference. And so I get this propane going right here, and got the house good and ventilated. And main thing is the wife's gone because she hates this smell. And so I try to do this when she's not around. And I just take and just gradually watch that catch it on fire. And you don't want to burn much. You just see that poly rope and that wax start to melt. I blow it out just gently and take my knife blade. You can take a kitchen spoon. Works pretty good also. And I just roll that around with my knife until I get that pretty close, and then I'll just dip it in just a little bit of water. And that cools it off to where I can smash that together. Because that will burn and can make you, while you're making these piggin strings, make that sound that helps call in some more pigs. So we're just going to let that melt within itself. If you have carpet under your fire area, that's usually not a good thing. So that's why we do this in here. That's pretty much all there is to it. You just roll that around, allow that wax to kind of get hot, and when it starts melting itself. And the longer you hold it up like that, the more it'll burn. Get you a good melt on that. A good scald. His old granddaddy would say, get a scald on that thing. And we just rolling that extra off. That's very hot. So I will cool that off just a tad before I mash it down with my fingers. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Your turn.
My turn.
I believe you can do it.
All right.
All right. Just always remember what you learned the first time you grabbed the stove. It's hot.
Stove is hot.
You bet. All right. You got that. Take the knife blade and roll. That's all you're doing. You're just letting that mash together. Just right. Yeah, feel how warm that can be?
It's pretty warm.
All right, but it's cooled enough.
Cooled off.
You bet. Now just mash it on around. We've got the gas shut off. We got our piggin strings made.
Nice.
And looks like we've got another successful learning task that's used out on the ranch. We've created some tools that's much needed and cost very little to do.
Fascinating. Right here with Professor Clower at Bary. You never know what you're going to learn, so stay tuned. Piggin String.
That's good.
I don't know what that is.
All right. Well, that's why you're here. And
Sorry, just the look on his face.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it brief. We're making Piggin String.
God, you don't get no shot. And then I was waiting on him to say, what the hell's a Piggin String?